Hey, what's up, wrestling fans? Different face. You weren't expecting Alex Song, the voice of the voiceful, hosting Wrestling Warm-Up. We had Doug McDonald, a prior engagement. He will unfortunately not be able to join us today, but I'm joined as always by two highly esteemed guests, Mr. John Alba.
Voice of the voiceful. That's definitely a different face for some of our folks, and hopefully they don't click away now.
Yes, yes. And as always as well, the man who hails from Toronto, Canada, Mr. Chris Walter. How's it going, buddy?
The man who needs no name tag, the man who needs no introduction, but you gave me one anyway. Doug, you look different, but it's all good, buddy. Alex Song is the host. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, right, Doug can't legally drink anymore. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Got glasses. No, it's still kind of a log cabin background, but all right, let's get right into it today, boys. Walter broke this story early on today. There may be changes to the WrestleMania 31 main event. Last week on Monday Night Raw, we got the huge announcement that following the main event match, Daniel Bryan will go one-on-one with Roman Reigns at Fastlane to determine the new main event match for WrestleMania 31 with WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar. Today, while I let Walter speak about it, Vince McMahon has a change of plans, huh?
Yeah, crazy. I didn't see this coming, to be honest, but Dave Meltzer reported that it looks like we're going to get a triple threat at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan put into the Reigns and Lesnar title match. I have mixed emotions about this. For one, I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan, so I'm excited that if this report's true, he's going to be in the main event. It's going to be challenging for the title. I felt he should have been there anyway, because the story was so good. He's coming back from an injury. He's the champion who never actually lost the belt, and he's the ultimate underdog against a guy like Brock Lesnar. But of course, Roman Reigns is the golden boy. They need to build stars for the future, so I completely understood that that was the direction they were going to go, and we were probably going to get Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, which, of course, could steal the show. But at the same time, it's like WWE really needs to just kind of put their foot down once in a while and just say, you know what, we know you want Daniel Bryan, but here's the plan. You're either going to accept it or not, and, if you want to boo, you want to cheer, whatever, it's WrestleMania. You're going to buy the show anyway. It doesn't really matter. So, they had the poll on WWE.com saying 87% of people wanted Daniel Bryan to be in the title match. That's cool. But ultimately, I don't know what this is going to do to Roman Reigns, if he's going to win the title or not. Daniel Bryan's involvement just changes everything.
Very true. And we have to hypothetically speak about this because it's really not 100% definitive that this change will happen. It's just a report from Meltzer, who is a very reliable source. But I just don't see how they do the same thing 2 years in a row. You're talking about the same exact setup, basically, with a triple threat match. You would think they would have to spice it up in some way. Maybe they make it an elimination match if they happen to go this route. Maybe they have Daniel Bryan not go over this time around. You have Roman Reigns win, but at the same time, you're giving fans that false hope that they had in the Royal Rumble when Bryan was involved, that he may win, so you may still get a lackluster type main event. John, any thoughts?
Yeah, am I frozen right now or no? Am I good?
You're a black screen right now.
I'm a black screen. All right, I'm gonna hop out and hop back in.
All right.
I'll be right back.
I will add this point though. Of course, we're getting at Fastlane the match between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. If this report is true, it would be super easy to make this a triple threat at WrestleMania by having Daniel Bryan beat Roman Reigns at Fastlane, and then have someone come out and say, Roman Reigns, you are contractually obligated to be in the main event of WrestleMania as the winner of the 2015 Royal Rumble. So that is the simplest way to make this a triple threat. But again, it changes Fastlane now. Daniel Bryan is probably going to go over now, correct?
Yeah, I could see Bryan definitely going over, but at the same time, they could always do something that I don't think they should do, but they may very well do it and have some screwy finish where it's a no contest, some kind of double pin. Though I do like what you bring up. I would love to see Bryan go over Reigns, and then maybe you have Vince McMahon back Reigns by, defying the authority. If you're gonna have Vince McMahon involved in this Triple H Sting storyline, Fastlane would be a perfect time to have Vince come back, or the Monday Night Raw after, have Vince come back, have him put Reigns into this triple threat match at WrestleMania. That way you have Vince come back, the feud with Triple H, and you can also make a triple threat without this like screwy no contest finish.
Totally.
Do we have Mr. Adam's apple back?
Am I good now?
Yes.
Yeah, are we good?
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, first off, let's hope Brian Williams isn't the one breaking the story, guys, because if it's not Walter, I don't know who it is.
Exactly.
Because then we got a real problem. I am skeptical, but, it's possible. And do I think it's a great idea? I don't know. They were starting to sell me on Lesnar Reigns. And now I'm supposed to be like, well, I was supposed to care about Roman Reigns, and now I don't anymore. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this. I'm curious to see how Fastlane ends, knowing how things have turned out in the past. I think it'll probably end in some controversy, because Raw and WWE is controversial, and when there's controversy, the authority steps in. So I'd imagine that's how things will end up playing out. In the end, maybe, I'll tell you what, if you want to get real interesting, maybe there's some integration with Sting here, which leads to, more friction between he and Triple H. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we do see Sting meeting face-to-face with Triple H at Fastlane, so maybe he appears twice getting involved in the main event. We have a Twitter question from Ed Call, always tuning in. He wants to know, does including Bryan in this WrestleMania main event create or nurture the idea of a heel turn for Roman Reigns, especially if it is indeed an elimination match?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think it'll be an elimination match, but absolutely, because it's not believable being an elimination match with Brock Lesnar in there. I think it does add to what Reigns could potentially do after the match, yes. I don't know. I don't see the organic story, whereas last year with Daniel Bryan, there was a very organic story in the David versus Goliath thing, and that's not really here this time.
You know what this does? I think it does increase the chance, like you said, of a Roman Reigns heel turn, but I think this increases the chances exponentially of Seth Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania, because
Yes.
I do not think for a second that they're going to close WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan as the champion, doing the confetti thing. They literally just did that last year. And with Daniel Bryan in the match, supposedly, we need to confirm this, of course, in the coming weeks, but you're not going to get away with Roman Reigns hoisting the title, because the crowd is going to turn on that right away. I'm sold now that Roman Reigns is probably going to win, and Seth Rollins is going to come out and cash in and become champion. But then he could also cash in on Bryan, too.
Yeah, the cash in on Bryan could very well make two monster heels in both Reigns and Rollins, but I don't really see them going that route, because then you kind of have a mess in terms of booking following WrestleMania, because you have Bryan, who won the title briefly, who needs a rematch. Lesnar, who knows if he'll be gone or if he'll still be with the company at that time. Then you have Reigns and Rollins, of course.
I mean, I think we can agree the direction they were probably going to go in after Mania was going to be Rollins versus Reigns, right?
Probably.
And I mean, look, Randy Orton is still in the picture too.
He is. We do. He returned at WWE Live event. We reported this on Saturday, I believe. It's Salt Lake City, I want to say it was.
Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we may very well see him on Monday Night Raw tonight, but at the same time, we've seen him advertised time in and time again. He's simply not appearing. But another interesting tidbit from WWE Live events, we actually saw Seth Rollins at these events. He was calling out Daniel Bryan in promos before his match with him, and we saw Rollins allude to the fact that on Monday Night Raw tonight, we'll see once again Seth Rollins go up against Daniel Bryan with that Fastlane spot on the line once again. I don't know how they'll get there, because Bryan won last week. I think that was clean too, the finish. Reigns got involved, I think.
Reigns hit that monster spear on Big Show,
and then punched Rollins.
Yeah.
So do you think we see this match happen once again that closed Raw?
Controversy. Yeah. And what should happen is Sting should cost Seth Rollins the match.
That would be nice too. To have Sting close the show, accept Triple H's challenge, cost Rollins once again. That would be a great finish to Raw.
I was convinced after Raw last week that they were going to go the route of a triple threat at Fastlane with Rollins and Bryan and Reigns, just because I don't know who else you would book to face Reigns at Fastlane. I mean, unless you threw him in like a throwaway match against a Ziggler or a Ryback. But if that were true, then why would they do a triple threat at Royal Rumble, they do a triple threat at Fastlane, and then they're going to supposedly do a triple threat at WrestleMania?
It's either Sting or it's Randy Orton costing Seth Rollins tonight, if that's the case. It's one of the two of them. And since the Authority just loves to make matches on the spot, it very well could be Orton, and then later this week we have Orton versus Rollins at Fastlane, or Rollins has nothing to do, and then we get that match at Mania. I don't know. There's a lot of different things that can happen here.
Before we hit a little bit more in depth, let's look at what happened after Monday Night Raw went off there. We had another Steve Austin Show live podcast with Triple H and the WWE Network. They hit on a lot of controversial topics once again. We had CM Punk brought up. We had Chyna and her potentially going into the Hall of Fame brought up.
Inverted DDT style move, baby.
Do not Google her, kiddos, all right? Anyway, we had Punk brought up, Chyna brought up. We had this tension between Vince and Triple H also alluded to. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the podcast. Did you like it? Should there be more going forward? Because I, for one, think at least once a month, if you have this on the network, you're going to get more subscribers. You're going to get a lot more eyes on the product. And I know you can't always have Vince or Triple H on there, but you can have the talent on there, kind of still just breaking kayfabe. That would be incredible.
That's the kind of content that is going to get people to order WWE Network, and for people not like yourself to cancel their subscription, or for...
Hey, disclaimer. I did not cancel my subscription. I made sure that it did not auto-renew on, was it February 24th, because by doing that, I don't have to pay for a month of the network where we have, it's between Fastlane and WrestleMania, there's 30 days. I save
yes,
there's your little disclaimer.
Right. That's always smart.
Right. Anywho, yeah, it needs to become a monthly thing for sure, and you can get different talent on. You can get, different executives on. It would be interesting, but it has to be people with actual backgrounds. Like you get someone like Ric Flair on there, it's going to be gold. You get someone like even Hogan on there, it's going to be awesome. So, I'm for it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Triple H touched on pretty much everything. I was surprised he kind of, Chyna was brought up. He even, answered a quick little, name association with Owen Hart. And then, he gave some honest remarks in terms of how he would change things. It was clear afterwards that, a lot of the things that happen with television these days are, of course, in the control of Vince McMahon. And would he go about doing things differently? Absolutely. He touched on giving the women more time. He talked about removing an hour from television, which is the smartest thing to do at this point, but that won't happen probably until Triple H takes over completely. So they want to do these things once a month or once every a couple of months. That's cool. Like they said during the interview, kayfabe is officially dead. You can have superstars on there and just kind of shoot the breeze.
Another thing to look forward to here on Monday Night Raw, we saw this on the Thursday Night SmackDown. We have a new tag team forming, which may very well allude to the previous report that Daniel Bryan will be included in the main event at WrestleMania 31, because we have the new favorite tag team of myself, and I know Doug O'Mac's going to love this tag team. We've got the big guy, Ryback, teamed up with Dolph Ziggler, the show off on SmackDown.
The little guy.
The big guy and the little guy. Right?
No, the little guy, L-I-L.
L-I-L.
The little guy.
We saw them team on SmackDown. They won their first match as a tag team. So, do we think this tag team sticks? And if it does stick, Ryback does smell, but that's a whole other topic.
Okay.
Three chicken burritos, por favor.
Trace. If we do see this tag team stick around, where do we see them at WrestleMania 31? Tag title match, some other tag match? Where do we see them?
The Ascension.
I don't want to see this tag team at all. This shouldn't happen.
I mean,
why are you not a fan?
Are we done with the Ascension, guys?
I think we should be, but I still think they're gonna go for the tag titles at WrestleMania 31. Whether the Usos have the titles or not, they're definitely gonna win them at WrestleMania.
Oh, definitely. Is that a B song? Voice of the
That's
Voiceful
a B song.
Guarantee?
Yes, it's a Voice of Voiceful guarantee. Take it to the bank.
Wow. So I don't know. I mean, there's no credible heel tags out there right now. I mean, you could argue the Ascension, but the Ascension's not credible right now. we'll have to see where it goes. I'm curious. I mean, it gives them something to do. It's just I wish it wasn't just like, hey, we don't have plans for you. We don't have plans for you. Let's put you together and hope something happens. Now, it worked with Miz and Mizdow, but who knows? I don't know.
I am worried about Ziggler getting
Yes.
lost in the shuffle because
for sure.
you're taking away another single. Well, not another, but you take away the potential of his first singles match at WrestleMania, I believe, because you're now either going to have him maybe tag with Ryback in some sort of match, or you throw him into the another battle royal.
Exactly, and that's it right there, B-Song. I think those two would have been my top two picks to win the battle royal. So
definitely, because
yeah.
Because you're gonna have a face win that battle royal likely, and they'll likely get some huge ride of momentum that Cesaro should have had, but the company decided to turn him heel, which really shot his credibility right off the bat. But I think if you did give that to Ryback or Dolph Ziggler, you can definitely rejuvenate one of them. Not that Ziggler needed rejuvenation, but someone like Ryback, you could get the fans behind him in a big way if you had him go over there.
What, in the Battle Royal?
Yes.
Come on, man. We saw what happened last year. It meant absolutely.
Yeah, but you know what?
They turned him heel.
But the win was a huge moment. It was a huge moment. It was the subsequent booking afterwards that was the problem.
Yeah, but it was the first one, and of course it's going to be a little bit special. But now that we've seen, Cesaro not doing much with the victory, like, what are we supposed to get excited if someone wins this thing? Of course not. And we don't know who's going to be in it. I feel bad for Ziggler mostly because he was, in the fall months, this guy was being booked as like one of the top guys in the company. He came back from down 3-1 to win the Survivor Series main event, whether you want to throw, Sting's interference in there or not.
They could still do like Sheamus Ziggler if they want to.
Yeah, you know what? That I would actually be more accepting of that. Just take Bryan out and put him in the main event, and then just have Ziggler and Sheamus do the feud.
They've had some good matches in the past too.
Yeah, and what is it? Sheamus, I reported earlier, he might be on Monday Night Raw tonight. He's backstage anyway, so if you want, WrestleMania is next month. They need to start, pushing forward some of these undercard feuds.
We're looking at a lot of matches for WrestleMania right now, which is leading me to think that some of these won't actually happen. Because we're getting this NXT ladder match, of course. I got 2 minutes here. I got 2 minutes here, guys. All right, I got to get this off my chest. I am very disappointed with how the NXT Rivals special event has been promoted, especially since you have this enormous, or supposed enormous feud between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and there's really been piss poor promotion for it on WWE television. Tonight, I'm sure you'll see all about it. But, I mean, it's coming right up, and I would guarantee you a very low demographic of the audience is aware of that.
Yeah, I'll give you that. This is supposed to be maybe the biggest match in the history of the brand with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but...
Certainly doesn't feel like that.
They booked that feud great. It's the show in general, and like kind of like the undercard below it. Like they have a tag team title match that I don't think anyone really cares about. The Baron Corbin Bull thing isn't my cup of tea. And then Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze is just a random filler match.
That will be a good match, though. They'll have a real nice showing together.
Well, we just saw them wrestle each other on television during the tournament, so I don't know why we need to see it again. But yeah, we're all gonna watch it. NXT Takeover has a match of the year candidate on every damn show. So I think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens or Balor and Neville will fill that quota, and hopefully we see some of those guys appear on Raw tonight.
I got a split, but good job, B-Song, and
thank you.
Just keep up the good work, kid, and hopefully just be in bed before 11. All right.
11 and 5. Overrun.
All right,
peace. See ya. Another thing, we were kind of talking about how WrestleMania may be convoluted with matches, and we have a lot of potential singles matches on the line. We have, on the Raw 5-point preview, they're teasing two things tonight. One, we've seen a lot of distension between Goldust and Stardust, so we may potentially see them split. I just wanted to get your thoughts, Waller, on do you think we do see them split by WrestleMania 31, and do we finally get this match, Stardust, Cody Rhodes versus his brother Goldust?
We'll get it eventually. I would rather see it at Fastlane. I don't want to see it at WrestleMania 31. just because I feel like that kind of falls under the same category of, a tag team is splitting up. And that's where the Miz and Mizdow kind of carry that kind of storyline right now. I would rather see those two at WrestleMania, but does anyone really care that Goldust and Stardust are, causing dissension between each other? We've been seeing that for years with Cody Rhodes under several gimmicks at this point. So if they want to tease more of it tonight, or just do the split entirely tonight and book it at Fastlane, and then just throw both of those guys in like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we should see them at WrestleMania. I think they dropped the ball on that by not having it like a year or two ago. And like you brought up, Miz and Mizdow is your tag team that's splitting up. That should be, if you're going to have a singles match between two guys that just split, that should be your split tag team match for WrestleMania. I think they're better suited for, like you said, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal if that takes place this year. But it's kind of just happened like so out of the blue and so like kind of rushed. I don't know. Like, I'd rather see the split happen. Say they're in the Battle Royal WrestleMania 31. I'd rather see it there, and then you can kind of build towards that as some post WrestleMania feud. Another singles match.
Well, sorry not to mean to cut you off, but WrestleMania is probably Goldust's last match, so you either do it now or you don't do it at all.
That is true. That is true. We have seen the reports that Goldust will be taking a lesser role, probably working as an agent, still on the road with WWE following WrestleMania, so that is a good point. Another singles match that we'll likely have at Fastlane is going to see Dean Ambrose challenge Bad News Barrett for the IC title. What I want to know, is this a step down Ambrose? A couple months ago, he was in the main event matches of WWE pay-per-views. He's gotten lost in the shuffle ever since Roman Reigns has returned. Is this a step down for him, or do you think he can build off of this?
There's nothing really else for him to do at this point. It seems like basically everyone else on the roster has like a high-profile, storyline heading into WrestleMania. Dean Ambrose is just kind of floating out there, and if you want to make the Intercontinental title, I say this all the time. Who's going to be the guy to restore prestige to the IC title? Is it going to be Dean Ambrose? Probably not. I think that title is just so far in the crapper that who cares? But I like the feud. I don't like this gimmick for Barrett. This what is it? BNZ thing, like BNZ. I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But with Ambrose, he shouldn't be complaining because the guy hasn't won a pay-per-view match in God knows how long. The fact that he's competing for the IC title is a testament to how popular he is. It's not based off of his win-loss record.
It would be nice if they decided to put the title on him. Maybe you can finally build up this prestige. But like you said, we say this so many times, time in and time again. When Dolph Ziggler held the title, he was feuding with Luke Harper. We thought Ziggler can hold on to this belt till WrestleMania. He can build up the prestige. Now we see where he is. We see Luke Harper no longer in the fold, who, by the way, I don't know what he's going to do at WrestleMania. He'll probably be in the Battle Royal, but they're really dropping the ball on this guy, in my opinion. I mean, he held the IC title for a very brief amount of time, and after that, he's really been lost in the shuffle, in my opinion.
Yeah, Harper will be one of the favorites in the Battle Royal. I could see him winning it, to be honest. I think it's easier to kind of build a heel with that kind of a match than it is for a face. Cesaro, I mean, he was kind of like borderline at that point because he was doing the split with the Real Americans, and then obviously afterwards he joins Paul Heyman and just goes full-fledged heel. But with Luke Harper, I mean, he has such a special character and such a special look. It's hard to, who do you want to book him against? But the Battle Royal is as good a place as any, and if he has a good showing in there, eliminates a lot of people, finishes in the final 4 or 5, I think that'll be acceptable for a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, because if we do see Dolph Ziggler and Ryback have some sort of tag team involvement at WrestleMania 31, I got to think Luke Harper is definitely up there for one of the favorites to win the Battle Royal. Because even though I tend to disagree, I think it would be better suited for a face to win the Battle Royal, because last year, had you not turned Cesaro heel, he would have had a lot of momentum coming out of WrestleMania 30 back then, but I still think Harper could be a very high favorite for that match should it happen. Just kind of back onto the Dean Ambrose Bad News Barrett feud. Do we think he wins the IC title at Fastlane, and then do we see some sort of rematch at WrestleMania 31, or do we kind of see them both in the Battle Royal, maybe some sort of pre-show match?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of doing rematches in general at WrestleMania. If you're going to do something at Fastlane, that's it. Don't give it to me again at WrestleMania. Come up with something unique, and that's why I feel like with the John Cena Rusev thing, they're fighting at Fastlane. They're going to change it completely at WrestleMania, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't think Ambrose wins. It wouldn't make much sense. You kind of have to make him the chaser at this point, even though the IC title is like a hot potato, and it seems like someone new's holding it every damn month. But I think Ambrose loses at Fastlane because, frankly, he hasn't won anything, and why would I pick him? That's the Frank Mansell strategy. Stop picking Dean Ambrose because he doesn't win at all.
I know, because you know what's going to happen too. If we happen to all pick him for Fastlane, he's definitely going to lose. So look out for that. In another feud set for Fastlane, we're going to see John Cena take on Rusev. Now, Rusev is coming off some important wins. He beat Eric Rowan on Monday Night Raw and then again on SmackDown. We'll likely see Rusev probably go up against Rowan again tonight, so be sure to be excited for that. What do we see? What do you see happening tonight with Cena and Rusev? Do you think we see another in-ring kind of promo thing that happened on SmackDown 2 weeks ago? Because when they had that, it was harder for their feud because of that Snow Day Monday Night Raw. That was one of the best segments on SmackDown and something that very elevated Rusev to a high level. He got to speak a lot on the mic. He got some good mic time. Him and Lana went up against Cena. What do you think we see here?
Cena will probably come out and say he was the one who screwed up Rusev's flag at the end of his match on Raw. Wouldn't even come down the entire way. I thought that was that was pretty funny, and it was hilarious that the announcers tried to come out and play it off that it was Cena. No, it was just a stupid mistake. But this week, I don't know, just probably more promos, maybe an attack. This feud doesn't really. I'm kind of like impartial. I'm like, meh, yeah, it's Rusev and Cena. The thing that worries me most is that John Cena is going to be the one to like win in the end, especially if they do 2 matches. I don't think for a second that John Cena is going to lose 2 straight pay-per-view matches to Rusev. But I'm a Rusev backer. I think his Russian kind of anti-American gimmick has been done to death in years past. But you know what? He's a great worker. He gets a lot of heat, and for the right reasons. So. I'm curious to see how he looks at the end of all of this, but as far as like a week-to-week basis, it's just the same old stick.
Yeah, pretty much. I do fear too. If we do, we'll likely see 2 matches with these two. I don't see how Cena will lose twice in a row on pay-per-view, but if we have some sort of screwy finish at Fastlane, or maybe Cena just goes over him. But at the same time, I believe last week on Monday Night Raw, they made this for the title. So we're not going to see Cena win clean. We're probably going to get some screwy finish where Rusev may win via countout, via some sort of cheating, whatever it may be. So that worries me because then at WrestleMania 31, how do they have Cena lose twice? Because if you have Rusev not go over at WrestleMania 31, I think you can hurt his character to a point where he may not be able to recover. Someone like Bray Wyatt is going to get back up because he's feuding with The Undertaker now. He really could suffer a loss at WrestleMania last year, even though some people didn't think he could. But I think Rusev, you really have to try and protect him in this feud.
Hogan's totally getting involved at WrestleMania. I'd stake my reputation on it. I don't want to see it, but you're not doing Cena Rusev again like in a singles match. I could see a tag team match. Justin LeBar at WrestleZone.com came up with the idea that it would be Hogan and Cena versus Rusev and a partner. It could be someone like Big Show or Kane or something. And if Hogan's involved, that Big Show is probably going to be there, so Hogan can slam him or something or something lame like that. But yeah, it's not going to be Rusev versus Cena twice. And with Hogan saying, we've reported a million times, he's trying to get back in the ring. I think WrestleMania 31, where he doesn't have to be in the ring the entire time, I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I think we could see a tag match. We could even see someone like Nikolai Volkov. I think Triple H brought his name up at Royal Rumble, I believe. I think we may see him align himself with Rusev, and then you have this tag match between the two. But still, even between the 4, it would be. Still, I just don't think that benefits Rusev at all. I don't want to see Hulk Hogan involved in WrestleMania. I don't want to see him wrestle again. But I think that may very well be the way they go. Another thing we'll likely see tonight on Raw, we're going to see Bray Wyatt likely cut another promo about The Undertaker. Now, in honor of Doug O'Mac, I'm going to go off on these marks who continually believe that The Undertaker is not wrestling at WrestleMania 31. That's set in stone. These promos, week in and week out, you get more of an allusion to The Undertaker. He's going to wrestle at WrestleMania 31. There's no other reason for these promos by Bray Wyatt. The thing that I want to know is, what will Bray Wyatt do at Fastlane to keep building him up as a strong character? Because Dean Ambrose will be feuding with Bad News Barrett. I don't know what place Bray Wyatt will have at this pay-per-view to get this momentum, keep the momentum rolling, have him looking strong again. Maybe he doesn't wrestle. Maybe we see the Undertaker appear at Fastlane.
Yeah, we're talking about like Fastlane. Like we know Sting and Triple H are going to interact. We know right now Bryan and Reigns are going to have a match. The rest of the card is so up in the air. Oh yeah, and Cena. Cena and Rusev are going to have a match. Yeah. But yeah, the undercard is completely like, who knows at this point. So who's Bray Wyatt going to fight? Who's Seth Rollins going to fight? Like big names that are going to have big matches at WrestleMania, the pay-per-view before, and we literally have no clue what they're doing. I hope that they kind of get this Undertaker thing rolling if he is in fact wrestling. I mean, with all of these promos, it's totally for Undertaker. I just want some sort of confirmation that he is going to be at WrestleMania. So if we don't see it in the weeks to come on Raw, probably at Fastlane, if Wyatt is booked in a singles match, we hear the gong go off, we hear the lights go down, we see Druids come out, and we get the confirmation that yes, it's going to be Wyatt versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. But until then, we're going to still see these promos where it's implying it's Undertaker, which is fine with me because I think they're brilliant on Wyatt's part.
Yeah, I think they are. I think we'll definitely see Taker if he's not at Fastlane. You can pretty much bank that he'll be on the Monday Night Raw after that because, as we reported, there's meetings between Taker and WWE. They met last week during Monday Night Raw. He was backstage, so some people thought he would actually appear then. Getting to some more questions we have on our Twitter account, tweet us at WrestleRumors to ask us some questions. Danielle Sue 17 asks, what do we think about possibly having a fatal four-way for the IC title at WrestleMania? You have Barrett, Ambrose, Harper, and Ziggler.
It's a good match. I mean, that's not bad. Will they go that route? No. I'd feel bad for Ziggler. I feel like he's gotten to the point where he deserves a singles match at WrestleMania, and I'm correct in saying he's never had one, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hasn't had one.
So yeah, but putting him in a meaningless IC title match, I mean it's big names like Barrett, Harper, and Ambrose, but does it really accomplish anything? No, but and again with Andre the Giant Battle Royal in there, I think they want as many big names in there as possible. I don't think they want to put as many of their top mid-card guys into an IC title match. So if we do see the IC title defended, it's going to be in a one-on-one match, probably Barrett and Ambrose again, I guess. But with Ziggler, who knows at this point. I wish we had more of an understanding, D-Song. What the hell is WWE doing these days?
I know.
Everything's changing.
It's asinine. It's asinine. But if that were to happen, even though it probably won't, that would be a hell of a fatal four-way. You could even have that be a ladder match, and those four would definitely steal the show. But I just hope there's still this little bit of excitement remaining for me, because I think we may very well see Dolph Ziggler go one-on-one with Seth Rollins. I mean, week in and week out, we're still not getting Randy Orton, and there has to be some sort of reason behind that. They don't have much of a idea where they're going with WrestleMania 31, in my opinion. We had the report today about how the main event may change. The only two matches that you can say will happen is Sting versus Triple H and then Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. So I think there's still a slither of a hope or chance that Ziggler does get his singles match at WrestleMania, but that probably won't be the case, but we can still hold on about that.
How much of a shocker would it be if they just had Randy Orton off of WrestleMania completely and they went the route of Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler? Rollins and Orton have more of a storyline, but the match itself, Ziggler and Rollins, that would be just as good as Ziggler Bryan.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if they held Orton back through WrestleMania season, because while he can fit perfectly in the card should he return, at the same time, he could fit even better just coming out of WrestleMania 31. If you have someone like Seth Rollins as a champion, you have Orton return the next night, you create an instant feud right there, even though it may get convoluted. I don't think they're going to have a big a star as Orton miss WrestleMania, so I don't think any of this will happen. But it's a route the company should probably consider. Moving on, other things we may see on Monday Night Raw. We reported yesterday, too, Sting, while he hasn't been advertised to appear, we have a lot of rumors and speculation about him appearing because on there's some local advertisements in terms of TV listings. I think it's on DirecTV if you have that. It asks, will Sting show up to accept Triple H's challenge for Fastlane, the face-to-face meeting? While that's me personally, I don't think we see Sting because he's working a limited number of dates since his appearance in Survivor Series. I think it was 6, and he's already appeared twice. So I don't know if we're necessarily going to see Sting on a Monday Night Raw that's leading in the Fastlane. I think it would just be better if Sting appears at Fastlane itself. But Water, what do you think? Do you think we see Sting today, or do they hold off?
No, I don't think we see Sting today at all. I think, with his appearance at Fastlane being heavily promoted, there's really no need for him to be there. I think we're all under the assumption that he's going to be interacting with Triple H on the pay-per-view. We don't need any confirmation like him saying, I'll be there, or whatnot. And, they basically said in the build-up that Triple H is calling out Sting, so there's no need for him to make anything official. So if he shows up tonight on Raw, great. It's going to be another great moment. But if not, just another Raw, right?
Yep. I mean, it would be awkward, too. You have Sting show up. Not even the go-home show would be 2 weeks before Fastlane occurs. The only reason I could see him potentially getting involved is if they do indeed have another Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan match to have the winner go on the face Roman Reigns at Fastlane. But even if we see that, I think that may be a better spot for someone like Randy Orton. But at the same time, they could save a Sting date or appearance by just having his Crow music hit, have him like the Jumbotron flash up with his face, maybe have like someone planted in the rafters like Sting's up there. That way you save a date, you can still further the storyline without getting in an actual Sting appearance.
Totally.
All right, let's see what else we have on tap for Raw. We didn't mention this about the Fastlane undercard. We will see Paige challenge for the Divas Championship once again against Nikki Bella at Fastlane. Do we see any possibility of a title change there?
Does anyone care? Paige wins the Divas Championship. Like, it's all just total Divas nonsensical bull plop. That's why I have to censor myself because there might be some wee ones out there. But yeah, it's Paige. I mean, I don't. Again, what are they going to do with the belt at like WrestleMania? You know what I mean? Is it going to be another throwaway like Battle Royal?
Please no.
With every diva on the roster getting some time to shine. And, like, I don't care. Nikki's nice to look at, so is Paige. Paige will probably lose. I don't like title changes the month before WrestleMania because I feel like there's more of a payoff if you do it on, like, in front of 70,000 people. So, I mean, we're going to do our stat picks later on, but Nikki's probably going to win.
Yeah, title change so like soon before WrestleMania just doesn't make sense in my opinion. And two, if Paige happens to win, she'll already be a 3-time Divas champion, and she debuted less than a year ago. So that would be that's a very good stat to have. It also shows how the Divas Championship changes hands very frequently. There's no sort of direction with the Divas division, which sucks, but I mean, I don't know where they're going to go with WrestleMania because we may just see another Battle Royal or like Invitational to get all the Divas on the card, but still, we have AJ Lee still out with an injury. We don't know like if we're going to see her again, but I just don't know where they're going to go with WrestleMania in terms of the Divas division. Nobody really cares though.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on from more undercard stuff, let's get into some bold predictions for Monday Night Raw. Any bold predictions, Walter?
It's going to be the same crap we see every week.
That's bold. That's not bold.
I'm going to fall asleep through the first hour probably. That's my big bold prediction. Although I think you touched on it earlier. We'll probably get another Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan match with the winner going to Fastlane. They're probably going to touch upon the fact that Roman Reigns interfered and that Seth Rollins deserves another shot, and yada, 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 same crap, different day. So don't be surprised if you see that. Other than that, more Goldust, Stardust Ascension, another Diva segment, another... and the Hall of Fame induction is going to be confirmed as well.
Yes, we haven't hit on that either. Walter, you wrote about this prior to going on the air. Rikishi will be the newest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. He'll be announced tonight on Monday Night Raw. We reported on this a couple months ago. Rikishi's name was thrown around as a inductee. Macho Man Randy Savage and Arnold Schwarzenegger as a celebrity inductee into the Hall of Fame, and will likely also get Ray Stevens. While he still hasn't been announced quite yet, he'll probably be announced in a week or two. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Rikishi is deserving of a Hall of Fame nod?
To be honest, no. But then again, who really is these days? They put basically everyone in there based on... I mean, during the Attitude Era, he was one of the most popular guys. He was the big 400-pound, cuddly teddy bear who would come out wearing a thong and rub his butts in people's faces. And based on his credentials beforehand, like, he was a member of the Head Shrinkers. So, yeah, the Head Shrinkers wasn't one of the biggest WWE tag teams. And, then he was the Sultan, which... he had some matches against Rocky Maivia. That's all I remember from when he wrestled as that. But as Rikishi, he was a one-time Intercontinental Champion. He had one meaningless tag team title run with Scotty 2 Hotty. I think he was the champion at WrestleMania 20, I believe, and he defended it successfully. But based on his credentials, he shouldn't be there. But based on his popularity, I can make the case.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think his credentials warrant some kind of Hall of Fame induction. But the big payoff here... get him up there in front of the mic. Just have him say, "I did it for The Rock," and then you're golden. You're golden because it really feels like WWE they're running out of these lesser guys, like kind of like guys that were upper mid card talent to put into the Hall of Fame that had some sort of main event success. They're just running out of lower card guys to put into the Hall of Fame. And I just want to bring this up once again. We kind of alluded to it before that. Triple H talked about Chyna not getting into the Hall of Fame anytime soon because of her prior work in the adult film industry. Do you agree with that? Because there was this comic from Botch Spot, I believe, where if you say you Google someone like Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Sonny, people like that, they have a lot of legal troubles in life, and they're yielding kind of like bad results too if you happen to Google them as a kid. What do you think about that? Is Triple H right not to induct Chyna into the Hall of Fame anytime soon?
Well, it's his decision ultimately. As far as like her being a wrestler and what she accomplished in WWE, she changed the face of women's wrestling forever because we had never seen up until that point a woman of her size, a woman with her stature and muscular definition, who didn't necessarily look like your typical diva that you see today. She ran through the Divas division and she was wrestling men. Like, she had a feud with Chris Jericho. She was the Intercontinental Champion. She was a transcender. But, like Triple H said during his interview with Austin, if you Google Chyna or Joey Lauer, you're not going to, and you're a little kid, you might not be happy with what you find. So if it's because of that, the WWE Hall of Fame is such a sham. It's basically just, who they want to get in there. And I loved your point where, they're going to run out of guys. If they keep inducting 5 or 6 people every single year, we're going to start seeing more and more people who just don't deserve to be there. But, at the same time, in the next couple of years, we're going to see The Rock get in there. We're going to see Undertaker get in there. We're going to see probably Triple H get in there. So, with Chyna, she might get in there one day if she ever kind of, becomes a nun. But other than that, not this year anyway.
Yeah, teaching English to Japanese children, not going to work out for Chyna, it appears, but
No.
she's definitely deserving for the way she just revolutionized women's wrestling. Unfortunately, because of her prior work, she's probably not going to get in anytime soon. Maybe it's something where it's maybe 5-10 years down the road we potentially see her in, but it won't happen for a while, that's for sure. We got another question on Twitter. Acer wants to know, back on the potential triple threat main event match, with Vince potentially making this Lesnar versus Bryan versus Reigns, do we think this is just going to hurt Reigns in the long run and potentially ruin his career? Because, Acer, I tend to kind of agree with that point, because if you have Reigns going in as this hot face, but you also have him a la Daniel Bryan, you're not really going to get him over as a face, because I was starting to get around the idea of Reigns versus Lesnar because you finally built Reigns up as this legitimate character who was he was dropping the fairy tale type things. He was finally cutting some good promos. While they weren't long, he was still improving upon his character. But now, say you have him wrestle in a triple threat at WrestleMania 31, he potentially doesn't win the title, maybe he turns heel. I do think that could potentially hinder his career, maybe put him a step back in terms of building into this next John Cena, next poster boy.
You're completely over-exaggerating if you feel that Daniel Bryan being added to the main event is going to ruin Roman Reigns' career. At the end of the day, he's still in the main event of WrestleMania. He's still probably going to win, and he's still going up against two of the biggest stars in the industry in Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan. The story of Roman Reigns has yet to be written. This is just the first of many main event matches that this guy is going to be in. Does Daniel Bryan's involvement kind of diminish? He was about to go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar to close the show, but now there's a third guy in there. Does it diminish it a little bit? Yeah, a little bit, but his push is still, it's going to take another year or two. He's going to have main events on pay-per-views. He's going to either be face or heel. He's going to be one of the biggest focal points of WWE television. Don't worry about Roman Reigns. This is just the start of something far greater.
See, I still think, though, you can hinder Reigns just by adding Bryan again because you're creating the same scene you had at the Royal Rumble where everybody knew Reigns was winning the Rumble. If you have it again where most people believe that Reigns will win the title, but you still have Bryan in there, you still have that false chance of hope that the same people that lashed out up at the Royal Rumble, they think, all right, Bryan's in it again, maybe he'll win like last year. And then if you have Reigns go over, you're not going to have that great reaction for him, and I don't think you're going to have to turn him heel. You're not going to build him the way you want him to be built. Will it ruin his career? Probably not, but I think it can put him a step back in a phase where he has to get himself over as a heel to actually get over as a face, which is sadly how it works in WWE nowadays.
Look, at WrestleMania, if it's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, that crowd is going to poop all over it. I don't care how over Roman Reigns gets in the next month or so. That crowd, especially with all of the international fans coming in and all of their smarky attitudes, they are just going to destroy Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Either that, or they're going to be completely pro Lesnar. After his triple threat showing against at the Royal Rumble, which is one of the greatest matches of the last 10 years, as far as I'm concerned. Roman Reigns didn't have a chance. At least with Daniel Bryan in there, he kind of has like a buffer zone in terms of what he can do and what kind of reaction he's going to get. Because I think more people are going to be focusing on doing the yes chants and supporting Daniel Bryan than they are going to be rooting against Roman Reigns. So he should be grateful at this point that there's someone in there who can kind of soak up some of the reaction for him, because otherwise we were on the verge of getting another Brock Lesnar versus Bill Goldberg, WrestleMania 20, fans just destroying it, booing it, crapping all over it. WWE couldn't afford to do that. So smart on them for at least coming up with the idea to do the triple threat.
I want to get your thoughts on this too, because I think it's really on the table at this point. While the Brock Lesnar return the UFC rumors do still have legs, we're still getting reports that he may very well stay because he's not working that many dates. If they happen to up his money, or they pay him a per date deal that actually gets him a lot of money to appear whenever the company wants him to, I think we still have to look at the possibility that Brock Lesnar somehow remains with WWE following WrestleMania 31. And if he, just speaking hypothetically, if he does happen to stick around with the company, do you think there's any chance they actually have him hold on to the title to build it up even more, to have him win in a triple threat match, defy the odds once again? Do you think there's any chance he'll keep the title?
There's no chance he's keeping it.
No
I don't
chance.
care if he stays for another 2 years. There's no way he's retaining. Very, 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 very rarely do you see the world champion retain at WrestleMania anyways. The only one I could think of in recent memory was that was closing the show was when The Miz defeated John Cena, but that was mostly about The Rock being there. It had nothing to do with The Miz. Usually you see a title change. And, when there was the world title, we saw some, I think Jericho beat Edge, the Royal Rumble winner one year, so that was different, though. There was two titles. So, I don't think Lesnar's going to stick around, nor should he. I think he has enough money to kind of just do whatever he wants. I think he has the urge to get back in MMA and kind of redeem himself after his last couple of losses. And, frankly, if he were to stay around, who left is there for him to fight? He's going to go up against, likely, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. He had a string of matches against John Cena. He had a feud against Triple H. He ended the Undertaker streak. I don't think he has any desire to put over some of these young stars on the roster, like a Dean Ambrose or a Bray Wyatt, and I don't think those matches would work anyways. So Brock Lesnar is going to be, it's his swan song is at WrestleMania 31, and if he does return, I'd be flabbergasted.
See, I don't think he has to have the desire to put someone over. If WWE ends up paying him to wrestle guys like Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, he'll put them over if they pay him to. But I think there is money if you have Brock Lesnar retain the title, you have Randy Orton either win a WrestleMania match, maybe against Seth Rollins, or you have him return the night after. If you have Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar for the title as your next match or your main event match coming out of WrestleMania, I think that will draw and sell. We've never seen Orton and Lesnar wrestle since he's been back, and I think that match could work. I thought it could have worked at WrestleMania 31 if they happen to have some sort of change of plans. So I think that we still have that on the table.
Acer sent me a tweet too. He's like, "Are you sure about that? Are you not happy about Daniel Bryan main eventing 2 years in a row?"
Ooh, cut up.
No. Look, how many years in a row did we see Hulk Hogan main event WrestleMania? How many years in a row did we see John Cena main event WrestleMania? And like a Stone Cold Steve Austin and all these top guys. Sure, Daniel Bryan isn't in the same category as them, but for the second year in a row, it's fine. And with his history of injuries, you want to utilize Daniel Bryan as much as possible, get as much money out of the man as you can, because frankly, the next 5 or 6 years look a lot bleaker than it would for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to have his shot to do whatever. He's young, he's healthy, it's all good. Daniel Bryan has years of mileage out of him. Put him in the main event now, and then WrestleMania 32, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, before we wrap up here, we got about 8 minutes left until the pre-show starts on Monday Night Raw. You brought up WrestleMania 32 a bit. We haven't really hit on this a lot here on the wrestling warm-up. Do you think we're going to have a monumental WrestleMania? Because right now we're shaping up for a pretty good card. We're going to have Triple H versus Sting. We're going to have the main event match. Maybe have Bryan in it. We're going to have Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. We're going to have Cena, Rusev. There's a lot of good singles matches in addition to the what should be a bit of a better undercard than last year, I think. But do you think WrestleMania 32 may blow this out of the water? Because we may have Sting versus Undertaker there. We may have Steve Austin wrestle. What are your thoughts? Do you think WWE will actually amp it up for WrestleMania 32, trying to set the attendance record again?
They need to. I think WrestleMania 32 is one of WWE's biggest tests because they put themselves in a rough place booking that show in a 100,000 seat stadium like Cowboy Stadium. So they need their big dogs out, and they need everyone at full strength. They need Lesnar there. They need Undertaker there. They need Steve Austin there. They need The Rock there. They need some of these young guys to really establish themselves, so they can have high-profile matches as well, like a Bray Wyatt, like a Seth Rollins, and especially Roman Reigns. So WrestleMania 32, WrestleMania 31, it kind of reminds me of WrestleMania 27. Because
really?
when you had The Miz and John Cena as your main event, but you knew The Rock was going to be there, you kind of felt in the back of your mind that the next WrestleMania was going to be a lot more special. And then it turned out to be, because the next night on Raw they announced that it was going to be Cena versus The Rock. I feel like WrestleMania 31, while the matches are going to be great, I think it's just kind of like a filler WrestleMania, and it's going to propel us to WrestleMania 32, where it's all going to be on the line, where all of the big names are going to be out. I think Vince McMahon is going to throw a lot of money at a lot of different people, because you can't get away with just having 1 or 2 really big matches and then just a lot of crap to support it. You need 5, 6, just WrestleMania epic moments. And before CM Punk left, I think Vince McMahon probably would have liked to do Steve Austin versus CM Punk as the main event of WrestleMania 32. Obviously, that's not going to happen. He needs to convince Steve Austin to get back in the squared circle, and I think his big money match at this point, while not a lot of fans would agree with it, I think it has to be Steve Austin versus John Cena.
Yeah, it all depends on where the young stars are come WrestleMania 32. Maybe they would mesh well with Austin, but I really think we could have saw Punk versus Austin because Punk was owed one, as Vince McMahon once told him. But WrestleMania 32 is certainly going to be a huge test for the company. You're going to have another like WrestleMania 30 type of like build kind of hype around it just so soon after what was one of the best WrestleManias of all time last year. You're going to have kind of a it's still going to be a great event this year, but kind of like a stopgap because WrestleMania 32 is going to be a very monumental event for the company. With it being in Arlington, Texas, at the AT&T Stadium, they're going to have to put as many butts in those seats as they can. But that's about it for Wrestling Warm-Up. We have 5 minutes until the pre-show on the WWE Network. Any final thoughts about Raw, Water? Looking forward to a great show as always.
Yeah, great show as always. Yeah, I want to answer this question first. Ed Call sent us something, and it's something I've actually thought of in the back of my mind. Do you see a point in maybe 2 to 4 years where Bryan may become stale to the majority? And I think this is one of those special circumstances because it's not like WWE is shoving Daniel Bryan down our throats. They're trying to do the opposite of that. It's the fans that are putting Daniel Bryan in the situation that he's in. He's not supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania 31. He's not supposed to be, he wasn't supposed to win the Royal Rumble. All of this is because the WWE Universe is so gung-ho on Daniel Bryan main eventing and being world champion and getting all of the spotlight. If he becomes stale in the next 2 to 4 years and people start turning on him because we're getting too much Daniel Bryan, the only people we have to blame are ourselves. We did this. This Daniel Bryan's push is a result of all of the IWCers and all of the hardcore wrestling fans wanting something different to be the top guy in WWE. So if he becomes stale and if he becomes repetitive, our fault. My bad.
I don't know. I don't think he'll become stale in the next 2 to 4 years. I think he'll be in that CM Punk kind of role. He's still going to be a tremendous wrestler. Should his health continue to be all right coming off the major neck issue, I think Bryan will be fine. He may not be in that main event level, but he'll still be a very good asset to WWE. He'll be an upper mid carder. He'll be able to interchange between face and heel pretty easily. Should he at one point turn heel again? I don't know if that's going to happen with the way the fans are backing him now, but should he maybe lose some steam, maybe if he does seem stale, they can always turn him heel, something they can't do with John Cena, and that way he can build his character back up. But that's going to wrap things up for Wrestling Warm-Up tonight. Thank you very much. We had a nice turnout tonight. Thank you for watching. This is Alex Bisong, who you can follow at GlassMode ALB, and then Walter, go ahead and plug your stuff at Walter Sports. You can follow him for all your RTZ. We the North. Are they playing tonight?
They don't play again until Wednesday. We just beat the San Antonio Spurs. We beat the champs. We beat John Cena. We beat the top dog. So I'm very happy right now. And of course, like you said, follow me on Twitter at Walter Sports. Alex, you killed it tonight. Best backup host ever.
Thank you. And that will wrap it up. Be sure to follow at WrestleRumors as we live tweet Raw. I think Doug O'Mac may be back from the grave. He's going to reappear to live tweet Raw with all of you, so be sure to follow at WrestleRumors. Follow him too at Doug O'Mac. We were also joined by John Alba at John Alba SFC. This was a one-time occurrence, probably won't happen again, so you better damn well have liked it. Peace.